Should we stick to the higher self, or is there a need for healing work? This question was posted about a day ago by a viewer who was watching a video I had uploaded about a month ago, and I will post the link to it in the description box for you, so you can go back and see what prompted that question. And it's such a key touch point to ask that for so many of us that I decided that while I gave a short answer to them, I also wanted to make a complete video dedicated to diving deeper into this really important question. Hi, Boo, my name is Valerie, and welcome back to my channel. I am so thrilled that you are here, whether it's for the first time or the 10th time or the 100th time. Stick with me on this and we will dive into this question. Which is more important, higher self or inner work? Now, granted, we would say, of course, you want to be in the space of the higher self. This is what you are. And it's only that we have lost our connection to our higher self that we have forgotten, in a sense. We have forgotten who we truly are. So when we get on what's called the spiritual path, and maybe some of you are just finding out about it, and some of you may feel you have been, you are veterans on the path. I started practicing meditation over 30 years ago, and that's what got me started on. After many years of just doing yoga postures, I wanted to learn about meditation, and it led to more and more and more. But of course, the deeper question is, while you're on this path to knowing God, to knowing that God is within you, that God is wearing the body of you, that you are everything, that you are the divine, that you are the part of the Shakti, as Hinduism calls it, the divine energy that moves through you. But we do forget, and we turn within through meditation to stay connected, or we start to look at manifesting as a means to understand this, or I should say conscious manifesting as a means to understand this process. But we can get very confused here, and it's happened to all of us, as to where we fit into this manifesting process. We learn about that God is speaking to us through our desires, as Neville Goddard taught, and that everything is always working out perfectly for us. Everything is working through you. So that is another big understanding along the way, and seeing how that is constantly unfolding. Even when things seem to be going south, we can still say, thank you for showing me this, so that I can continue to have faith that God is leading me in the right direction. But at the same time, we try to do more and more work on ourselves, healing work, or we talk about working on ourselves all the time, or we join other groups that are about clearing up all the crap that's gotten in the way, that's muddied the waters, so that we're not truly knowing God within us. And it's the whole idea of it being a constant work, or whether you call it a workout, or you look at it from a yoga perspective and call it a work in, as I sometimes call it, as the teacher Indu Aurora has called it, it's a work in, which is true. You're going deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're removing the layers that are preventing you from knowing your true nature. And because of that, we often can get very caught up in various practices or various healing methodologies and protocols and systems and all kinds of energy work in an attempt to go deeper and to reveal what we feel we're not seeing so we can see clearly. And while those can be important, and they definitely can have their place at various times, nonetheless, we can also become addicted to them so that they start replacing the time we are spending within ourselves, and recognizing and coming from that place of I think the person who commented called it the observer, but it's called the observer, it's called witness consciousness, and it is the fundamental state, it is the fundamental beingness that you are. It is that inner witness. It's called witness consciousness. So you might also call it consciousness with a capital C, or being an aspect, or a sometimes it's called a fractal, a part of God, or the operant power. There's a lot of different names for it, but ultimately it's being in the space of just pure being, which brings with it pure knowing. It's being connected to what Hinduism calls the Shakti, that moves everything in this world, everything that has sentience, everything that has life, people, plants, animals, all of nature, all of the universe, weather, you name it. It's all, everything that has that movement, that energy, that has that sentience, that would be considered, it's driven by the Shakti. But that in itself is a long course of study. It's understanding how that moves within us. And there are even 3 parts of it that are related to desire, knowledge, and action. And this is very similar to, of course, things that Neville Goddard taught, that Dr. Joseph Murphy taught, in relation to manifesting in itself, having a desire, being moved along the bridge of incidence to receive it, to taking aligned action according with your state of consciousness. But ultimately, the idea of following that path, and those things can get out of balance according to Hinduism, according to the teacher Sri Ravi Shankar, who's a teacher of part of Hinduism, that even those 3 can get out of whack, out of alignment, that you can have too much of desire and not enough knowledge as what to do with it, or too much knowledge and not enough action. So the tendency is not to be doing enough to get out there to make it happen. But if you go further into that, you're constantly working on trying to figure things out. We end up, it is like, excuse me, I bumped that. That it was getting excited. It is the relaxation, or the easing into knowing that you are everything, that you already have everything. And if we're constantly trying to figure it out and work on it, we are always feeling there's something a little off, or a little something that's wrong. And the commenter also talked about, well, we do need to deal with the ego, and whether you call it the ego, the small self, the lower self, the separate self, all of that is related to constantly trying to improve, as opposed to recognizing you're already perfect, you're already fine, you're not broken, you are already whole. And it's important to understand that. So if you are starting to explore various ways of working yourself, or if you've been doing it for quite a while, and yet you are still stuck in stories about yourself, stories about your life, your various experiences, about your history, about your tendencies, about things that are repetitively happening to you, take a look at whether what's happening is that you're more into these processes and ways of working on yourself than the ultimate goal, which is knowing your oneness as God, as consciousness. That's the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. This is everything. And you already are that. You already are complete. And that's why if you keep running after things, that's why in Zen Buddhism they say a finger pointing at the moon is not the moon. You don't want to just be collecting fingers. And it's really like those ads or signs you sometimes see at craft breweries that say drink responsibly. I think they say things like, get weird but drink responsibly, something like that. It's kind of the same thing here. Explore these various avenues of healing work if they're appealing to you and you like to explore these things. But if they're constantly a feeling of working on yourself, trying to fix something that doesn't really need fixing, but it's simply a shift in perspective, then do those responsibly. Take time to notice what's actually happening. That yes, you want to give yourself maybe the experience of that, but what does it really all come back to in terms of who you are and knowing who you are and the truth of you? And a lot of times, in fact, really all the time, what it comes down to is knowing the choices between fear or love. It's still that choice in everything. That if we're coming from fear, we can have a fear of even discovering who we really are. So it's easier to go down a lot of rabbit holes of healing work, which can go on endlessly, than to actually get to the root where love is. And as the saying, I think it's credited to a man named Leonard Orr, who's originally said, love moves anything out of the way that is not love, to make room for more love. And that is for healing. That is the ultimate healing work. Is there more love? Is it more expanded? Does it bring your desire to you? Does it make it easier? And sometimes, a lot of things happen in the course of love, moving things out of the way, because it can move relationships. It can change your place of where you're living. It can change your work. It can change your income. A lot of things shift because you chose love. But love is that state. That is God. When you choose that and you choose to be that and come from that, that is fundamentally, that is within you, that is God. So this always comes back to that. That is, in the face of that, the ego can't hold on. And all the doubting thoughts and the worrying thoughts and the anxiety thoughts can't hold on in the face of that. Whether it's for a few minutes, a few moments, or it becomes your ongoing state of being. When it is your ongoing consciousness, your ongoing being, then it's bigger and beyond any particular state. It is the fundamental foundation of all your states. So you don't have to think as much about which state and is it the right state at the moment, because that can still fluctuate. And sometimes you will feel more anchored in that divine nature than others. But if you pause and get still and remind your mind, your crazy thoughts, I am God. That's just a reminder to you. It's a note to self. I am God. Be still. And choose the stillness. Choose the silence. There's a practice in Hinduism called Neti. Neti, and it means not this, not that. And it's really just a reduction. Okay, I'm not this outfit. I'm not this necklace. I'm not these glasses. I'm not my name. I'm not my job. I'm not the chair I'm sitting on. I'm not all these things. It comes back to who am I? I am the divine. I am God. So even as you explore whatever healing protocols or methodologies that you want to do it from knowing that it's from a place of love within you, for love to move anything out of the way that is not love, and dwell there. So if you have questions, I'd love to hear from you about that. Put them in the comments. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Love you, boo. See you in the next video.